Right now, there are two government rebate programs that can take up to 6 figures off the cost of a new home in Ontario. And based on the conversations I'm having every week, most buyers either haven't heard of these programs or are mixing them up. I'm Christian Jauslin, realtor with the Storey Team here in Toronto, and new developer inventory and these rebates are my specialty. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what each rebate is worth, whether you qualify, and the 3 fine print details that decide whether you actually get the money, plus the one thing developers will not do with this rebate because I've watched it kill deals. So first, 30 seconds of context, because this is the piece most people are missing. When you buy a resale home in Ontario, there's no HST on the purchase price. But when you buy new from a builder, whether that's a condo, a townhome, or a freehold property, a 13 HST tax applies. On a $700,000 property, that's $91,000 of tax baked right into your purchase. Developers usually fold that 13% into the sticker price, which is why nobody really noticed until the rules changed. And they changed in a big way in your favor. So Program 1 is the federal program. It's for first-time home buyers only, and it's already law, having received royal assent in March 2026. Here's how it works. If you're a first-time home buyer purchasing a new home as your primary residence anywhere in Canada, the federal government rebates 100% of the GST. That's 5% federal portion on homes priced up to $1 million. Maximum value, $50,000. Between $1 million and $1.5 million, it gradually phases out. So a $1.25 million home gets roughly half the maximum amount of $25,000. Above 1.5, nothing. Who counts as a first-time home buyer? You're at least 18, you're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, and here's the detail people miss. You haven't owned a home anywhere in the world in the current calendar year or the 4 years prior. So if you owned a condo years ago, sold it, and have been renting it since, you might requalify. And I've already had 2 clients discovered they qualify when they assumed that they didn't. So check before you rule yourself out. As for timing, the agreement with the builder has to be signed between March 2025 and the end of 2030, and there are construction deadlines attached. But for anything that you're buying today, those are comfortably far out. This program's been live since March, and eligible buyers can apply directly through the CRA's website. Okay, Program 2 is the big one and applies to buyers here in Ontario. In March 2026, the Ontario government announced it would rebate the full 13% HST in conjunction with the federal government on qualifying new homes under the Ontario Enhanced New Housing Rebate Program. For homes up to $1.5 million, you can get a maximum of $130,000 off. Between $1.5 and $1.85, that rebate phases out linearly, dropping steadily from $130,000 down to $24,000. And above $1.5, the enhanced rebate no longer applies, but you're still eligible for a flat $24,000 rebate, which was the old provincial amount. And notice something, this isn't just for first-time homebuyers. If you're buying a qualifying new home as your primary residence or as an investment that you will be renting out for at least the first 12 months after you take possession, it applies to you too. But here's the part that matters more than the headline number. The qualifying window is tight. The purchase agreement has to be signed between April 1st, 2026 and March 31st, 2027. Construction has to be substantially completed by the end of 2031. So if you've been sitting on the fence about new construction, the government just put out a pretty expensive egg timer on that fence. It's also why, unless you're buying something that's already built or is about to finish being built, you're likely not going to qualify for this rebate. This is why developer inventory units are really your only option to be able to take advantage of this enhanced HST rebate. Now, up until about a month ago, this program wasn't even legally in play yet, since it needed both federal and provincial legislative approval. That's actually why developers couldn't reflect or market this expanded HST rebate in their purchase agreements and pricing, which caused obviously a lot of confusion out there. Their hands were tied while all these changes sat in limbo. The good news is, as of June 18, 2026, both the federal and provincial bills received royal assent and are officially law. So developers can just credit the full 13% now, right? Not so fast. Just like the government, developers have been slow to implement it because While the rebate is technically law, developers' legal teams still need to rewrite the entire purchase agreements to reflect this new rebate, whilst also accounting for all the existing contracts that are signed but haven't closed yet. As you can imagine, that's a slow, delicate process that could take several more weeks or months to sort out. Long story short, for now, most developers are still requiring purchasers to apply for the expanded HST rebate directly with the CRA at closing. And quick caveat, the CRA still requires paper forms since electronic filing isn't available yet. That said, some developers are able to credit the full 13% off the purchase price at closing, effectively applying for it on your behalf. Either way, before you sign anything, based on this rebate, I highly recommend confirming it with both your agent and your lawyer. If you're buying directly from the developer without an agent, just be careful with the information they hand you, and always double check with a lawyer at the very least before you sign anything. Now, as promised, here are the 3 details that decide whether this money actually lands in your pocket. 1. If the property is your primary residence, that means you or an immediate family member actually needs to live there for at least a full year. If it's an investment property, you need proof of a signed, executed 12-month lease, or the CRA could claw that rebate back with interest if they find out you did not lease it in that first year. 2. How you actually receive it. As I alluded to earlier, there are 2 routes. The builder credits the rebate directly at closing, so you never need to front the cash, or you pay for the full purchase price, including HST, and then have to claim it back from the CRA. Which route applies depends entirely on your agreement, and you want to know before you sign, because it dramatically changes how much cash you need on closing day and how large of a mortgage you will need to qualify for. 3. And this is the one I promised you in the intro. Developers will not automatically reduce the purchase price by the rebate amount and just trust that you qualify. I've seen buyers ask, and the answer is always no, because if it turns out you don't qualify, the builder's the one left holding the tax bill. So the rebate math happens around the price, not inside it. Structure your financing knowing that. So as a quick recap, federal program, first-time home buyers only, up to $50,000, already law. Ontario program, buyers of new primary residences or qualifying rentals, up to $130,000, agreements signed April 2026 through March 2027. Both apply to new homes only, which completely changes the math between pre-construction and resale, and that exact comparison is the video I'm publishing in 2 weeks with real numbers side by side. I also built a free eligibility checklist that walks you through every requirement of both programs in plain English. Links below. And if you want to know what this rebate means for your specific budget, that's a 15-minute conversation. Booking links in the description. That's real money most buyers are leaving on the table. Don't be most buyers. See you in the next one.